So, what I have observed in my study of astrology over the past couple of years is that it's both a science and an art and a science. There is no doubt plenty of technical things. And the more you study it, the more you understand how many times an actual transit can truly lead to a particular outcome, which is like, and that's what makes it so engaging to continue studying. So it's literal and scientific in that sense. And then it becomes archetypal, where it's a metaphor. And doesn't mean that it doesn't hold true very specifically. It just means it doesn't have to be the father. It could be the president or the authoritative figure. So I'm making this video about the upcoming solar eclipse in the sign of Aries in March of 2025. I learned earlier today some things about this. I was watching a video by an astrologer named Adam Ellenboss, and his company is called Nightlight Astrology, and I've been learning so much from his videos. They're incredible. And Adam was talking about the meaning of a solar eclipse in general. And so astronomically, what's happening is the moon is actually directly in between the sun and the earth, so that the sun is literally blocked from the earth. Now, if it's a full eclipse, it's completely blocked. And if it's a partial, I think this one is 92%, I heard someone say. So it's mostly blocked. And so instead of it just being a typical new moon where it's dark, but they're not completely over top of each other, in this case, they are. A regular new moon in general is going to indicate a new beginning, a new cycle. When it's an eclipse, solar eclipse, not only do you have the new beginning aspect of the new moon, but you have the ending of something represented by the sun, because the sun is getting completely blocked out by the moon. So something in this case actually has to end or die in order for the new beginning to come to fruition. What exactly could be ending in this situation? Well, between the two components of the sun and being in the sign of Aries, it's in essence a king or some other authoritative archetype. So it could be obviously a queen. It doesn't have to be male or gender related, but anything that's held as like the top of the pyramid. For each of us, that could be a completely different person. It could actually mean a part of ourself, because Aries is the ego of the self. So I was doing some speculating and contemplating on this after I listened to that video today about what it could mean for me in my chart. In my chart, I have Aries in the second house, and it's actually what's known as intercepted. I don't like the verbiage of that, because it's not intercepted. It's actually not intercepted by any of the house cusps. So Aries is nestled into my second house, and there's no planets in there. So the second house has to do with values and money and love and attraction and what we value, and also our own self-worth. And the self-worth aspect of the second house is what really stands out to me. And furthermore, Aries is ruled by Mars. And where's Mars in my chart? In my chart, it's the first house. So it feels very personal to me that something about myself and my ego is going to end so that I can begin anew. Now, what I came up with is the sun, the reigning supreme exterior thing that is leading in my life, that may need to die in order to begin again, is something that came up for me yesterday on a totally different call, a coaching call that's not astrology based at all. And it was the fact that I am still looking for approval outside of myself from the father archetype. Basically, any man in my life, it just feels like they are the ones that are allowed to tell me I'm doing a good job, I can go now, or yes, you're ready for this, or you've made it, or here, I have an award for you or a job for you because you're doing such a good job. Then I'm like totally fulfilled. That's crazy. And I've worked through it with my own dad, to where his presence does not feel at all to me overbearing at this stage of my life. Our relationship is wonderful, but still the energy that was ingrained into me as a youth, where I'm seeking the approval of him, is being cast into other people in all different types of ways. So it's interesting to me that the solar eclipse, where the sun is going to be blocked by the moon, the sun's going to have a death of sorts in the sign of Aries, which is very much the ruler archetype, as well as the sun being the ruler of our solar system. And I, yesterday, separate from contemplating astrology, was bringing up the awareness of how I need to let go of that part of me that's still seeking the authority outside of myself to validate me. And so whether you follow astrology religiously or you understand what these videos are saying, there's so many that I drown myself in regularly. Sometimes it's hard to make sense of it. But usually these things are happening anyways. And so I think the way that I talk about astrology and will continue to talk about astrology is without so much of the astrological jargon, because that's taken me a long time to grasp and I've invested a lot of time and money into it. So is the average person really going to be able to interpret when I throw in Neptune and Mars and all of this? Probably not. I don't know. But the point is, there's something that has power in our lives, and it could be a husband or a father or a child. It could be the president. It could be your employer. It could be your mother. It could be anything that reigns supreme in your life that needs to change. It doesn't mean they have to die or go away or exit your life. It could mean that they're just changing perspective. You're changing your perspective on how they are represented in your life. And that's really the key to everything. As far as I've learned with esoteric wisdom, is like perception is reality. So if I perceive that my power is outside of myself and there's some other king energy that gives me the authority to be who I am, then that's reality. That is ruling my life, actually. Even though we could say that's not true, the power's not outside of you. Well, it is if I give it away. So it's really for everyone to contemplate inside their own world. What is it that has been reigning supreme with the Aries leader archetype and the sun over my life that I'm ready to shift perspective wise and downgrade and replace newly with my renewed sense that I lead myself in these areas and that I take inventory and ownership of everything, and I'm willing to step forward in my power as an Aries energy does, as the sun does. Both of those things really representing the ego and who we truly are and how we show up in life, what needs to move so that I can step forward. This is a pretty short video, but I did want to bring forward what I surmised from Adam Ellenboss's video, and his channel is great. I highly recommend if you want to get into a little more of the technical side of astrology. And even if you don't pull up your astrology chart and you just found this video anyways and it kind of resonates with you, what has power that needs to shift so that you can take a little bit more power inside rather and pull it back in. If you did happen to find this video and watch this, I hope it served you well, and I want to thank you so much for watching it. I'm just now starting to grow my YouTube channel. I've wanted to do this for so long, and a number of things have held me back. A lot of that I'll be talking about on this channel, because it's not just astrology that I'm interested in and that I see life through. It's also spirituality in general. Non-judgment and the 7 hermetic laws have started to really permeate my being and how I respond to life and live each day. So thank you again for watching. I can't wait to make more videos and hopefully connect with people in the interweb space here. And I'll see you in the next one.